Right, you joined me today out on the coast path, finally. For those of you that follow along on my social media channel, you'll know that I love being on the coast path. I'm going to tell you a little bit more in a bit about who I am, what Bimbling Books and Beer is all about. But for now, I wanted to show you where we are. So this route today starts off at Cape Cornwall. We can see just behind me there. Beautiful. Cue some lovely little rolling footage of Cape Cornwall. So come with me today and let's have a look what it's like from Cape Cornwall to Pendeen. The smell of wild garlic as I am walking down the footpath into Kellenjack is absolutely glorious. I think they've just been down here trimming the footpath, which obviously means they've cut through all of it. Not all of it, but the bit on the side of the footpath, but it absolutely stinks. Who else likes wild garlic at this time of year? Absolutely love it. Has anyone cooked with it before? I've never actually cooked with it. Right, check this out. For some reason I'm well excited about this and I don't know why. Cornish choughs are breeding. Why am I so excited about that? I just think that's absolutely amazing that in this mine here, Cornish choughs breeding. So if you don't know anything about Cornish choughs, they were once nigh on unheard of in Cornwall. And they're an amazing bird. They're a little bit like a blackbird, but a bit smaller, I think. I've never actually seen one. I've seen pictures of them and I've read about them. But they are the symbol of Cornwall, really. They're almost like the Cornish bird. And a lot of Cornish get very passionate about Cornwall, rightly so, because it is a beautiful kingdom, and about their right to be Cornish. I'm not Cornish. I'm a fraud, really. I'm from the Midlands originally. I moved down to Cornwall 10 years ago. My daughter was born in Cornwall. Technically, she's Cornish. It says Cornish on her birth certificate. But I love Cornwall. And if you're watching this vlog, then this is what you can expect. So, Bimbling Books and Beer was my kind of drunken brainchild one night on the way home from the pub. I was struggling with mental health. I'd had a major mental health breakdown. I was on the brink of the edge. And the only thing I knew how to do was to get out walking. So that's exactly what I did. I started using the coast path as a little place to escape to. I got myself an Ordnance Survey guidebook with loads of different circular routes in Cornwall in, and I started going out and slowly ticking them off. And whilst I was doing it, obviously, this was in the winter, I thought, I'm just going to pop into a pub. And I'm not much of a drinker, but I started to have a pint or two. Sorry, the wind's a bit terrible. And I started taking a book with me and reading a book. And eventually, that was the purpose, was going out, reading a book, having a craft beer, and going out for a walk. And I wanted Bimbling Books and Beer to be a place where people could replicate the walks that I was doing, and using these tools, or they're not even tools, things that I enjoy, to potentially replicate, like I say, and get out and go walking. So I started Bimbling Books and Beer on TikTok, and reminded myself that I really enjoy the process of making content, creating content. So I then launched onto Instagram a couple of weeks later, when it wasn't a complete flop on TikTok. And, I now post to Instagram and TikTok very regularly. At least once a week I try to do, if not a couple of times a week. And you're now seeing the development of that, if you will. I'm moving on from that. I'm going to continue doing the short stuff. I absolutely love it. And I think, content creating is something that I want to do full time in the future. But I want to get into this long form content a little bit more and create more of a story. So what you're going to get from Bimbling Books and Beer on YouTube is my walks that I do in and around Cornwall and Devon in a slightly longer format with a little bit more of me talking. You're also going to get my adventures wherever they might be. I have got a very strange addiction at the minute to booking Airbnbs, lovely little shepherd's huts, maybe close to a pub, but with walks in the surrounding area, and going and stopping for a few days. And some of the things that I've seen or got up to are pretty cool, and I thought, you know what, it'd be amazing to bring you along. So this long form content is an opportunity for me to do that, to bring you along on my adventures. So if that sounds like a bit of you, some walks, some book reviews, some craft beer reviews, some adventure blogging, and a sprinkle of positive mental health on top of everything, then follow along. I've got you covered. I also forgot to say that I love flying a drone. If you're interested in what I'm flying, it is a DJI Mini 4 Pro, and it is absolutely killer for having it out on the coast path. It handles the wind like a beast. Maybe. Who knows? Right. Just got to Love and Mine. Here it is. It's a little information for you to a little bit about it. Apparently it's known as a mine beneath the sea. And the mine's stretched out under the ocean to a depth of about 300 fathoms, which is 549 feet below the sea level. That is absolute madness to think that these mines stretched out all the way out here to sea, all the way out as far as I can see. The miners are extracting copper and tin and ore out of these mines. It's absolutely madness. I've just found another little information board here. It's actually really interesting. So Levant mines, Cornish mines were usually financed by a group of shareholders known as adventurers. Is that me? Who would pay a certain amount per share that they owned towards the initial startup costs of the mine. If the mine didn't start making money, pretty quick there'd be further calls for money from the adventurers to keep the enterprise going. When the mine started to make profits, these would be paid to the adventurers in some form of dividends. So when the Levant Company was formed in 1820, there was 20 £20 shares. In other words, a total capital of around £400. In today's money, that's about £35,000. As far as we know, no further calls were made before a rich copper lode was cut in 1821. So it only took them a year to strike gold. Well, copper. That was pretty much gold in these parts back then. And the company started to pay dividends over the next 20 years. These amounted to approximately $12,500 per share. That is madness. Additionally, the mine's accounts were prepared every 2 months by the purser and approved at a meeting of the shareholders. And their meetings were held in the count house, was followed by an extremely good dinner with plenty of ales, wine and spirits. It was said that some people bought shares in mines just so that they could attend these dinners. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should sack off the walking and looking for a job. Just get some shares in a mine. Does anyone know of any Cornish mining shares going? I'd love to attend some lovely little meals with some good dinner and ale. No? Guess I'll have to get going then, won't I? So this walk takes in some pretty awesome mines in Cornwall. I would say some of the best mines in Cornwall. Check this out. This is Geever Tin Mine. Look at that. It's an absolute beast. What's really interesting about Geever Tin Mine as well is that from the outside it still looks very modern. It didn't shut that long ago. I'm pretty sure it was in the 90s. Don't hold me to that. I'll have to check my facts. But I'm pretty sure it's shot in around the 90s. I've been around Geever Tin Mine before. Come on, Tess. And it's pretty epic. But to see it from this angle, you can see from the coast path, you really see the scale of how big it was. And it didn't, like I say, it shut very recently. But it's incredible to see from this angle. So if you're doing this walk, then this is a section you're going to want to make sure you check out. After Levant Mine, the footpath, the coast path, turns into this rolling cliff again. So it's a little bit less intimidating. It's nice and soft underfoot, it's all grassy. But there are some steep sections like this. Doesn't look very steep, but believe me, it is. Do you know what I'm really liking today about this walk is the fact that there are so many people out using the coast path. And I've seen more people today than I've probably seen all year on the coast path. Not just people from the UK, from a whole international arena. I've met some people from Germany today, from Spain, met people from Scotland. It's so awesome to see so many people using the Southwest Coast Path. And they're not just walking it for the day as well. You know, some of these people are walking it and camping, walking the full length of it. It's absolutely incredible. So when you come to the end of the coast path, signpost for Gurnard's Head, 5 miles, Cape Cornwall. We obviously want to be going back to Cape Cornwall. You can go up this road, which will take you around to Pendeen. But seeing as the dog's pretty tired, we're going to head up the hill today. And And the route that I would have done, which would have gone round Pendeen, would have literally joined it about 200 yards up the road. So make your decision when you get there. I think the dog's done and we're not even halfway yet. Not even made it to the pub. When you've come up that road, you're going to want to turn right at the first junction you come to, and it brings you along this narrow country lane. There's not much road walking on this route. This is probably about it, and through the middle of the village to the pub, and then you drop back down onto the coast path. Right, so in the village of Pendeen, you're going to want to turn right along the main road, and then you'll soon come to the pub. It's absolute chaos in Pendeen today because it's bang on school time. Should have got out of bed a bit earlier, but definitely going to stop for a pint. Right, one thing you will all come to know about me is that I'm a craft beer guy, but they didn't have any craft beers. It's a shame. So I've gone for the next best thing. And when the sun is this glorious, you can't beat a pint of Cornish Rattler. That is glorious. I've also gone for a bit of surf and turf. Didn't bring lunch with me. I've had a chocolate bar all day. So I've gone for a bag of scampi fries and a bag of roast beef crisps. Surf and turf on the go. Just be careful as you walk through this village because some of it is not. There's no footpath, or there's no pavement, there's no curb, and it's really narrow. So yeah, just be careful if you're walking through this village. So yeah, from the village you are turning right off the main road, following the signs for Levant and the Beam engine. And that might sound familiar, that's because it is. The last part of this walk kind of retraces its steps a little bit. But it's a stunning stretch of coastline, so seeing it from coming a different way keeps it nice and interesting. How you feeling, Tess? I'm tired. She's absolutely done in. I thought 9 miles would be alright, clearly not. Lesson learned. What is it about you and long grass? And that's what I have to put up with. That's why my walks take so long. Constantly fussing her. She's a delight though, isn't she? She's just happy to be out. So, I am 8 miles into this walk, and you might be thinking, Dan, that's a bit of a hefty walk for your first one. There's good reason for that. The reason is that I am preparing to walk the Smuggler's Way. So on the 9th, 10th and 11th of June, I'm going to be walking the Smuggler's Way in Cornwall over 3 days, which is 36 miles to Hella, to raise money for 3 mental health charities in Cornwall. Man Down, George's Voice and Pentreath. They mean a lot to me, and I'd really appreciate it if you headed over to my Linktree or hit up the link in the description below to donate some money towards the cause. It would mean the world to me, and I know it would mean the world to lots of other people that are struggling in Cornwall with mental health. So open up that description, hit that link and drop me a bit of sponsorship. I'd really appreciate it, guys. We are just coming back past the Tallock mine, the Crown mine, and the dog's done. Do you want to go home? She's not waiting around any longer. Maybe it was a bit overkill trying to tack 9 miles with her. There you have it, guys. Back into the car park of Cape Cornwall. Hopefully this is a successful first ever YouTube video. If I've got enough footage to make a video out of it, we will see. If you've watched this, then I'd really appreciate some comments. Let me know what you thought. Hit that subscribe button down below and stay tuned for some more Bimbling Books and Beer.